Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Running Riot podcast. I have Jamie Lee, and you have to introduce yourself. So you have to say who you are, what you do at Trio, so that everyone knows who you are, because it is your first episode.
Hi, I'm Jamie Lee. I am Senior Account Manager at Trio. Is there anything else I need to tell people?
That is it. Don't you mean you could do a fun fact if you want, but
Oh god. I do not have one of those.
That's fine. I mean, you live in the middle of nowhere. That could be a fun fact. You quite literally do live in. I'm not going to say where because I might offend people.
Offend people?
In case they live there as well. Right, they're like, I don't live in the middle of nowhere.
It is kind of in the middle of nowhere.
It's literally
really nice.
So in today's episode, we're going to be speaking about whether your website is optimized for conversion. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people come to us, and we've spoken about this in other episodes, and they come to us wanting a service like SEO or PPC or social. And the first thing we do is we go look at their website, because that's a really important aspect of all marketing.
Yep.
And we obviously are saying, all this traffic's going to come to your website, but it's not going to convert unless you have all of these things.
So we can do all singing, all dancing campaigns, but if your website is not ready to convert,
it doesn't matter how much, and you'll end up wasting money. And I think that's what people think, that they can just get all the traffic and it will just convert. So we've kind of come up with a list of things that we look at and a list of things that we would mention to clients, because we've been doing it for a long time now. And that is, they're all tried and tested. They're not just things that we make up. They're things that we've actually A/B tested and know work. And it is different for let's just say services and e-com. And so we will mention those as well, because obviously there are different types of conversions that you want if you're selling a service or a product. So first one that is on there, well, I'll go through the list, I'll rattle through it, and then we can kind of go into each one. So we've got design and layout, so how the website looks. You've got your CTAs, your UX and your UI, so your user experience is very important for how people are going to enjoy the journey of the website. We've got what it's built on, because we ask people, they don't know.
Yeah.
And that's quite important to know.
That can be a big factor into what you can do, what changes you can make. Obviously, if we're doing the website for you,
it's different. We'll build it on something.
But taking on somebody else's build
is a challenge.
To make changes can sometimes be challenging. WordPress, not so much, unless you've got an obscene amount of plugins that are going to cause problems.
Or don't have a builder.
I don't have a builder yet. But yeah,
there will always be limitations brought on if you are building on something quite bespoke or that someone else knows and no one else does. And then there's imagery, videos, and your site speed. So the first thing we'll go on to is like your design, your layout. And I think that your user experience kind of comes into that as well, because it's all in one.
Yeah, that people are going to lose interest within literally seconds of landing on your site. If they land on there, there's no good image that actually shows what you do. There's no straight away a clear sentence, just a sentence that tells you who you are, what service or what product you're selling. That's all you've got. You've literally got that. That is it.
And then I've been followed by that, and that's what we say to people, like, your banner is everything. If that's kind of the angle you want to go for. So whether that's video now, because everyone's pushing it, and then imagery, and then you've explained to someone who you are. And then followed by that is your CTA, which comes into user experience. What do you want people to do? Like, what is your goal? Because if you don't tell them and they need to guess, they're going to do nothing, essentially.
And overkill with CTAs is not overkill. So in your menu, in the header, right away
floating
on
down
your
the
banner
side.
image, a floating sticky when you first scroll down, contact form right there on the right-hand side, right at the top. I mean, if it's obviously contact that you want, if it's in e-commerce, then contact form is probably not what's going to be there. But
your best sellers might be there. It might be take to collection for the Shopify collection. It might be your sale collection.
Yeah.
It might be your best sellers. It might be a new product that you put on. Whatever you're wanting them to do, we've noticed that the top right is where it needs to be. It's where you look.
That's people can see it immediately. But having said that, as I said before, the sentence above that says exactly what you do, particularly if it's a service.
Yeah.
There's no point in having a CTA, a nice contact form, which I should say should be very short. The
Yes.
longer it is, the less likely they are to fill it out. But if you've got a contact form there, but you've not said clearly what you do before that, then why are they filling
not
out
going
the
to get in
contact
touch.
form?
And we've found that with services where it's a bit more complicated. I think with ecom, it's pretty clear. You're buying something now, you're finding out a little bit more about it. But a lot of companies where they are service-based, they'll say, oh, this is our website, have a look. And without knowing who they are and what they do, we would read the initial sentence or a couple sentences and be like, we are none the wiser.
Yeah.
We still do not know what you do.
Yeah.
So how would anyone else come on here and go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted.
And do you know what? Sometimes that is a bigger branding piece, because we've had
Yeah.
clients where exactly that, they come to us, either they want a SEO service, PPC, whatever, and we're making changes to the site or suggesting changes, or it is that we're building a brand new site. You can then sit down in a meeting with those people and they themselves could not give you a sentence that explains clearly what they do.
No.
They could rattle on for 20 minutes.
And tell you what they do.
And you could still not be very clear at the end of that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is, a lot of people that come to us, they don't have brand guidelines. They don't have a branding doc. They don't have that quick elevator pitch, which people they now think is quite old school. But, and I suppose an elevator pitch, it's like what people say when they do marketing at university. You've got to have this for a business. But it is useful to have that quick snippet of what you do, that you tell, if somebody's never heard of you before, what is it that you tell them?
And especially if your name isn't clear, because these days we don't just, even back in the day, and I think still now there are some companies that will name their company what they are. But we're getting all creative and we're coming up with all these names. If you heard Trio Media, for example, you wouldn't think like all-inclusive, your complete like digital marketing agency, we do all of that. So without explaining that on our website, on our social media, in everything that we say, no one's going to read that name and go, oh yeah, I know exactly what they do. So think about that on your website. So educating people the moment they get on there. And then once you've educated them, making them make the decision you want, rather than being like, oh, well, you could click here to contact us, or you could go to this page, or you could visit this page. Your user's already overwhelmed and going, you just give me one option so that I'm not confused on what you want me to do next. Yeah.
We are babies at heart. Just literally. You need something right there, big, flashy. When I say flashy,
maybe don't make it flash.
That is not what I mean. But something so obvious that they will click on it.
Exactly.
We don't want, I think quite recently, actually, this has always been a thing, but recently I've had a lot of clients that want to take the users on a journey through the website. They're explaining it to me, by the time they get to the contact page, they've done this, 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 and this. They've gone to this page and read this, and it's just never going to happen.
No.
People are not doing that. They're so eager. Think now, mobile first, people are just searching on their mobiles. They're even searching in a different way. People aren't searching Google necessarily. They might be searching TikTok for the closest restaurant or shop.
Instagram.
They're not then going to go from that platform they've used to search for you onto your website and go through six pages.
Journey.
It's not
their
a
attention
journey.
span is 10 seconds. Especially if they've come from a social media platform, if it's an e-com, the product they clicked on, they want to land that product. If I see an Instagram ad for JD or Sports Direct or Adidas, whatever it is, and I click on a shoe and I get taken to
Imagine if you went
collection.
To the homepage.
Yeah, the homepage.
Clicked on, this is the shoe I want, and now I've landed on JD homepage.
I would just be furious.
I'm not searching for that shoe anymore. You know that it's a Nike trainer. Even if you went to the Nike collection within JD, how many trainers are there? It's not.
That's just not the experience that you want. And that comes down to services as well. If you are, however you're doing your advertising, say, for example, we do an advert on SEO. If we then take them to the homepage and that's just SEO, PPC, social media strategies, the person's like, I forgot what I wanted. Yeah. So you're trying to keep not only their attention span, but you're also trying to remind them, right? You've come from this platform. This is what you clicked on. This is what you want. This is what you do next. You contact us about the service.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to make sure that people are going on, a journey in the sense of from one platform to another or to the website, but don't take them on an extra journey.
Yeah.
Straight after they've come from Google or social media.
People love their business so much and are so passionate about it. And that's fantastic.
That is amazing.
But it's not the journey that your potential customer is after.
Exactly. And then I think like kind of segueing or kind of going along with your design, your layout, your CTA, your UX, you mentioned on something which was imagery straight away and video. And I think that's one thing we try and push clients as much as possible. We will always promote this, despite it being difficult, to not use stock imagery where you can. We know that's impossible. There are some things we've got clients that are kind of in the children's industry and they can't, it's a lot of work to be asking parents, getting permission. There's a lot of issues with that. So then there are moments where you want to do it. Medical things as well. Sometimes you can't always do that.
Yeah.
And you need to get permission. But for the most part, when it comes to your team, when it comes to if you're doing a service and you're in-house, even if you're an e-com and you get people packing and like doing the little things like building a box and putting little cards that are personalized, people want to see that experience.
Yeah.
So
incredibly, people want to see that experience.
we care. For some reason,
yeah.
we care about how our products and our services are being delivered, our services, who's delivering them, and our products, who's making them and who's getting involved. So just basically, I mean, we almost force people to have photo shoots.
Yeah, but the reason is people buy from people. People like... they're not as much as they are interested in the service or the product. They want to know that it's a person behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, having photos of your team, of the products you sell, of just day-to-day stuff.
Things, yeah.
I mean, we have started now making a bank of our own kind of
like
stock imagery.
Yeah, in-house stock imagery.
So it's easy enough, we're just getting on with our day-to-day work and one of the girls is taking photos.
Pictures.
It is that simple, and not everybody here likes the photo taking.
No.
But it doesn't always have to be a close-up of your face.
Exactly. It could be
it could
an
the
angle
back of your
or
head sat at our computer, because that's
it could be in a meeting where it's multiple and it's a far angle. Like, I think people hear the word photo shoot and they're already intimidated and they're like, well, that day I need to dress differently. I need to do my makeup. I need to do everything. And it's like, okay, but if that's not how you are naturally, then that's probably just going to feel forced. So maybe sometimes don't warn everyone and just take your camera out at work and take some pictures. So, okay, so we've gone through the design, the layout, CTAs, UX, imagery. One thing that a lot of people say to us or ask for us is, how do I make my website quicker?
Yeah.
And that is one, I mean, so TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, obviously Facebook and Instagram together, have done what you call instant pages. And they've created that because people's websites are so awful.
Yeah.
And so they take you from the app, or they offer you the opportunity to go to the TikTok store because they know it loads quick and you can buy quick.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, if you need that, it's because your website's slow.
Yeah.
And that's just a red flag. And that's something that we would always say to you. Like, we need to optimize your site for speed.
Yeah.
So what are the first things that we kind of do to optimize sites for speed?
Usually one of the biggest things is the size of images on there. So particularly if you're coming from like a WordPress site, one of those where it's easy for you to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have any background knowledge on what makes a site fast. You know nothing about websites. Because you don't need to for WordPress necessarily. If you're using a template and you're just uploading stuff, you don't need to. But that means people are uploading images that are huge.
Because then they're high quality.
Because then they are high quality, but there's ways of still keeping a quality image and having it
correct
a smaller size.
Yeah, doesn't need to be like 20 megabytes, please.
But also not tidying up in there. So you've got you might only be using 30 images on your site, but you've been testing out loads of different ones. You end up with a bank of 100 images in the back that you're not using. Yeah, those could be deleted. These are really minor things. That's not going to like improve your speed drastically. Like loads of plugins that can affect it.
Yeah.
A lot of CSS, so that's more like you're not going to necessarily be doing that.
Yourself,
on a WordPress site. If you're doing it yourself, you might have a developer. But equally, and this isn't bad-mouthing developers that aren't like a marketing agency, but if you've gone to somebody that's purely a developer, excellent, like they're so good at what they do, developing sites, coding,
not
sitting there all day
though.
looking at that, but they're maybe not aware. I'm not saying all of them, some of them 100% are, but if inherently what they do is development,
that is what
are they aware of the things that they're implementing on there that can affect speed?
Yeah.
And, sometimes it does take an agency that is aware to tell you, and we can work with that developer just to give him some pointers on, you know, some
what to
changes that we
do.
can make.
And
it
we've also got
faster.
developers in-house, and obviously that is the benefit. And a lot of people say like, oh, what are your USPs? And it is that everything's in-house and everything's inclusive, and we think of everything like that so that people don't come to us to get a site developed, not then use any of our other services. But then if they did go to someone else or did come back to us, it's not like, well, yeah, we built you a great site, however, we're going to have to change everything now.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the last thing you want to do. So I guess some advice that we would give you guys is, if you're getting a site built or you wondering like what's going wrong with your site, just always keep in your mind, say to your developer, like, is this optimized for speed?
Yeah.
Whether you want to use things like Page Speed Insights, which is Google, which is the same as Google Lighthouse. If you pop your URL, if you have a website in there, it will give it to you.
Yeah.
And some will look like it's not in
also
English.
Also thinking about that, yeah, it looks like it's not in English and you might not know yourself what all of those points mean.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of them are quite contradictory. You
Yeah.
could put your site into both, and
Yeah.
one says one speed and one says another. And
Exactly.
one says it's got these 10 problems and the other one says, well, that's actually got 30 problems. And
Yeah.
they're conflicting. That it's not the be all and the end all that.
Yeah.
I think you can quite clearly see yourself if you click on your website and whether it's loading fast or not.
Yeah.
A test I would do though is obviously you can be seeing a cached version if you're on your website all the time.
Yeah.
And it's loading quickly for you, but not for
anyone else.
Joe Bloggs down the street because he's been on it for the first time. Test it in an incognito window.
Yeah.
I mean, actually manually testing it is going to give you a good idea of whether it's fast or not.
Exactly. And that's the same with mobile. Go incognito as well, but making sure that you're looking at it on mobile, because that is what that software does anyway. It tells you the speed on desktop and the speed on mobile, and it is different.
Yeah.
And that's why we promote things like Shopify. We make sure that if your theme or your template doesn't have it, build in the option to do a mobile image.
Yeah.
Because this long, wide banner is trying to then load but also be cropped and like optimized for mobile. And that's already exhausting all the energy of your website. So making sure that with speed, it is also optimized for mobile and desktop. And things like Google Analytics, it's a great place, or GA4 if you're on there already, to look at where your traffic is. And so if you're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, is it desktop, is it mobile? If you have the data, go and find out where are your users right now. And if they're majority on mobile, go work on your mobile speed.
Yeah,
and vice versa if it's on desktop. So you don't need to fix everything instantly, but just have that, exactly what Jamie said, have that, do that manual testing and have that experience, and then find out what you can do yourself before having to get maybe a developer, or if you're in contact with the person who built your website.
I think as well, because we can say video is important, and that's like such a huge thing at the moment. People want video. Don't drown your site in videos though, because that is going to make it slower. So there's like a fine line between
having a good experience, and using things, making sure it's embedded from YouTube, not just trying to upload an entire file into your media library.
Like people love that. People come to us and they want that banner image, that first thing to be video. I would say like a short video,
like a loop.
Is a looped video, but embedding a long video in there, it is going to make the site really slow to load. So if you want a video that's like an explainer video, embedding it from YouTube so that it's not actually sat on your server, absolutely fine.
And that will help it a lot. And you can do things like remove the end screen and do a loop, and so not having to worry about related videos popping up and things like that. So you can. I think people are like, oh, but it won't be the same experience with the YouTube video. You can hide the controls as well, so people can't pause it. You can remove the music if you want, if you're worried people are going to like go on your site and it blast them. So try not make that like a talking loud interactive video. It is basically just the first thing someone sees, and maybe it explains your service better than words. We would still recommend, of course, using the words, not just for your user, but for SEO and Google.
100%.
But just a quick video is definitely what we would promote for that. And then just quickly to cover what we were saying on the contact forms with being a short amount of fields. So we promote them, however.
So, I mean, sometimes this can be difficult for people that are selling services and then need to capture a lot of information. But I would say investing in a team in-house that's, your contact form remains short, takes a contact number, email address, offers a callback, then it's the sales team who then capture that information that's needed, just because you're going to lose so many leads. But once they've filled out like 4 things on a form,
and if they're all required as well,
and the required fields, people just stop filling it out. And we really have seen people that have come to us and we've shortened their forms, they really have got a lot more leads. And it's, you know, sometimes even if somebody's filling it out, you get bored, you just click whatever. You know, you know when people say, "Where did you hear about us?"
Yeah.
I just click the top one, I'll be honest. I never look through those. I'm not going to scroll through 20 options.
No.
Or then it says other, please state the other. I'm just never going to do that. So you're not going to get true information anyway.
Yeah.
If you want to know that, ask them on the phone when you call them. To them. We want to know sometimes, keep getting questions around TikTok marketing.
Yeah.
We want to know, like, how have you found us? Is it through TikTok SEO, or is that through our SEO? We're not asking that on the form. We're not asking that, you know, through the lead generation on our website. We're asking when we speak to them directly.
So I think that is probably one thing. And the thing is, people think, oh, well, you can find that out anyway. You can't with tracking at the moment. Tracking is just so tight, especially on social media and on Google. So
I think that's why there's been such an influx of people wanting to add more things to the form, because we've stopped being able to track all of that.
Yeah, we can't get all of that.
So it is like, you once had this information, you now don't, how are we going to get it? Oh, let's add it to the contact form. No.
It's like if you meet someone for the first time, you don't ask them 50 questions about them. You meet them multiple times and you get to know them. Yeah. So that is literally how you're treating your potential customer. Do not say to them like, "Hi, what's your name? How can I contact you? Where do you live? What's your blood type?" Like, just chill out. Like, all you need to know is, who are you? You know, what's your name? And sometimes even pick your favorite contact if it's email, and that is your really the communication that you think is going to convert, because you write incredible emails. Make that required, but your phone is optional.
Yeah.
But if you think your sales team is just incredible at calling, but the numbers that, and put the emails optional. So it's just trying to tailor it so you don't even have to make everything required. You can put it there, and if they fill it out, that's on them.
Yeah.
So that's a really important part. So I think to wrap up, when it comes to doing your website, making sure it's ready for conversions, making sure it's ready for all these forms of marketing and communication that you want to throw at your website. Don't just think, oh, I can do all of that and it will fix my website because I'm paying for traffic. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
And what we've gone over is basically making sure that CTA is clear, that it is everywhere, and it's the same CTA that takes you to the same page.
Yeah.
And not this like diverse journey that they need to go
through.
You
can definitely have more than one CTA.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that is needed.
Yeah.
But I would try
and keep one that's very clear. Yeah. And even if it is contact us, but then throughout the homepage, there's a couple that says, oh, there's a paragraph, view our pricing, or there's a paragraph, find out more, read our latest blog. That's fine.
Yeah.
But on your menu CTA, and your sticky and everywhere else, try and keep that to the kind of call to action or form of communication you want them to have. And then, we've just gone through optimizing your site for speed, making sure that your images and your videos are, you know, real and about you.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, that the user experience is good, that they can go on your website, and whether you check that menu or not, that it's quick, but also that them getting to that CTA, that last form of communication that you want them to make, is quick and easy and loads, and they can check out if they're buying something and they're not overwhelmed by the process of getting to their checkout. So just making sure that user journey is really quick and easy for anyone to do.
People have short attention spans.
Yeah. Tailor to it.
Just always keep that in mind.
Perfect. Well, that is everything we have on optimizing your website. If you need a website,
come to
us. Let us know. Our developers are not the type to not know about all those things. But just let us know. So I hope that you enjoyed episode 4, all about optimizing your website for conversions. If you are on YouTube, our contact details are here. Or search us on social media. And for those listening in, check in next week for episode 5. I don't know who my lucky teammate is. I don't even know what we're talking about. But I'm sure it'll be...
I can't remember.
Really interesting. We've got a spreadsheet. It's not with us. My phone screen's locked now. So it'll be a surprise. Thanks, Jamie Lee, for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.